I was into Lemmings. Did you ever play Lemmings?
Yeah, a little
It's
bit.
fucking badass, wasn't it? One of the best puzzle games ever. And then I was into, the Genesis. Oh, before Lemmings, actually. I was into Genesis games. But then the Genesis got stolen when I was in, 8th grade. So Sonic 3 would be the latest. I remember playing Madden 94 and Cyberfall. But then I got into Quake, Duke Nukem. What was the one where you're fighting against Mecha Hitler? Wolfenstein 3D.
What is it? What's the address here? 112 St. Louis.
122. The 122. So let's see. Then the Genesis got stolen, and I started playing PC games. So Lemmings, and then
What's the zip?
oh, I have no idea.
466 something.
Probably 46601. No, I think that's across the river.
Yeah, it is.
So this would be
It's 46617.
17. Jedi Knight. Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. Loved it, played it online, was a badass. And that was one where you choose, to a degree, whether you want to be light side or dark side once you get to
there was what? Dark Forces, and there was Jedi. Are we talking about the same thing?
The FPS that was where you start out as like a stormtrooper and end up as like a Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was Dark Forces, and there was
Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, and then
Jedi
there was
Knight,
something
and there was Jedi Academy. No, Jedi Academy was the third one.
And it was Sith something. This is where Sith came from, as I understand it. Legends of the Sith? I don't remember.
No, because I thought the third one in the series was Jedi Academy.
Maybe. I didn't play the third in the series, so I don't know.
Third was fucking awesome.
Yeah?
Dude, you had a fucking lightsaber and shit, and it was still like first person and did that shit, but like there was a multiplayer component that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I had it on Xbox. Jedi Academy was so fucking cool.
Yeah. I never played it. I played a number. I've always tried to sample all the Star Wars games throughout my entire life. I love Star Wars. I've enjoyed it. There was a rail game that was for the Mac, a rail shooter game that was Star Wars. It was awful, but I loved it. There was the Rogue Squadron for the N64.
Rogue Squadron was fucking awesome. There's been so many shitty Star Wars games, but there's
so
been
many shitty ones.
But there's been some really good ones. Like there was
I did really love the PS2 FPS with a split screen where it's I don't know what they call it. It has a name that sounds like it could just as easily. Ooh, did you just drop your cigarette down your pants?
Almost. That would have been so bad. That would have been a fucking spectacle to behold, though.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we should probably call it a night. It's approaching 5 o'clock.
Yes, it is. Masters of Terrakasi. It was a fighting game for the PlayStation 1. It's fucking awesome.
Were there any recognizable characters?
Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, like they were.
I played that game once. Someone I knew had it. It was an import. They had a hacked PS1.
It was incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
To play against the AI because the AI was so good. I only played it on a demo, but I played it over and over.
Okay. What's that sell for these days?
Oh, it's probably like a couple $100, like used and scratched to fuck.
How hard is it to find a ROM of it?
Oh, I'm sure I can find a ROM of it. Like I think about it, then I just don't end up getting one. Before
Yeah.
I could do that. Because I have a PlayStation emulator on my computer.
Yeah, they're not hard to come by. They've been around since the beginning.
Well, the emulator is easy to come by. The problem is making it work because you have to get a legitimate BIOS.
Oh
Because here's
yeah,
the thing: it's
that's
like
right.
Sega Saturn and PlayStation were the first to actually use a BIOS. So like you get the emulator to run the system, and that's peachy. And you get the OS to run it, but you also have to have configuration files to mock a BIOS of a legitimate system.
Hmm. I think I've heard about that. Man, the BBS I used to be a member of back in high school, back on these shores of this river, Flagnet BBS. It's still online. It's a telnet. Um, they used to have competitions where they would design 5.25-inch floppies or 5.5-inch floppies, whatever they were, for their Commodore 64s, and try to design like a program that will execute and encrypt the whole machine, and then try to crack each other's programs. And it was just the coolest goddamn shit. And we'd play spoons in the basement. Um, yeah, I'm not a coder, but that gives me some kind of hacker culture cred. I didn't do any of the hacking. At one point, one of the guys that I knew through Flagnet wanted me to check out his BBS because he finally got a few lines wired up to his modems. And it was like, oh, but that's an Elkhart phone number. And he was like, oh, well then dial this. And he gave me this long string of numbers. And I did it, and I connected. And I was like, cool, hey, I'm on. He's like, yeah, what you just did was you dialed into a repeater that's about halfway between Elkhart. It's a phone company hardware. And just, I was like, oh, really? Cool. Back when long distance was a thing.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day. StarCraft. I was definitely a big StarCraft guy.
I had friends that were really into StarCraft, and I just
We were able to hack it so that we could play it despite their because they, like the PS2 games, had like an official server that you had to access. But you could crack it and play player to player off of their servers by I think, I don't know, maybe spoofing it, a fake server or something. I had a friend that knew how to do it, and so they set it up on my battle station, which has evolved to be this. And I played a lot of StarCraft. Man, I loved it. It was really my first tower defense game experience. And I love tower defense.
I used to watch friends. There's actually in Final Fantasy VII there is a tower defense game that's a mini game that's built into it that's actually really fucking incredibly well developed. And you have to do it to get like it's a way to get one of the master materias, I think.
Yeah.
So you have materia, which is how you cast magic, which was completely different from any other Final Fantasy VII. You had to equip the materia and in order to use the spell. Like you wanted to cast like lightning, which was bolt. Like you want to cast lightning, you have to have that equipped. But there was a way to where you got this shit called master materia, was if you maxed out, because materia would level up on your weapons. You would get a certain amount of experience, which would level up your character, and increase the amount of hit points, their defense and their attack metrics, all that shit. But it would also increase your materia. when you maxed out a piece of materia, it would not only would you have a max level materia, but it would also like duplicate the materia, so you get like a fresh starter piece for whatever it was you maxed out. When you had everything maxed out and you managed to find the master materia, like for you had magic, you had a magic class which were green, you had a command class which are your skills which were your yellow, they didn't use your like MP points, and then there was a summon class as well that was red, and those were the creatures you summoned.
Was there
And then there was
Machina?
huh?
Is there Machina? Machina? It was in 8 and I think in 10. Never mind.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You know, not as far as like a summon creature.
No,
But anyway, once you maxed out every single one in that class, you could go up to the master materia,
mm-hmm.
and you could take all of those and form them into a master materia, which was basically a piece of materia that had every single one of those
without
you having to equip. No, it would have all of them. It would just have everything.
Yeah.
And it would only take up one slot on your armor or on your weapon. And it came with no penalties, because when you would have materia equipped, it would reduce your hit points by a certain point, by a certain amount. It would increase your magic. It would reduce this, increase this. It had no status effects whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay. I had files, like I did this a couple times where I had files with shit where I had one for each playable character, and that shit took forever. I mean, I had like 300 hours. Maybe not that.
Wow.
But
no, that sounds about right. I think I put 200 hours into FF10 with my launch PS2.
10 was good. I never made it all the way around the around the grid to max out any given character, but I was pretty fucking close.
I think I maxed everything out on 10.
I still remember 10. Like, I mean, I beat everything and I went through all the shit, but there was that battleground in that more open area off the side towards the end. And there were these monsters you could fight, and there was a fucking snail, and I never beat the fucking snail because the snail would go into a shell and regenerate to full health right before you could kill him. And once he went into a shell, you could only inflict like a few hit points of damage. So you had to basically wait till the snail was like down to like near death, and then you'd have to cream it, just fucking snail fuck this guy, and until he was dead. And I was never able to do it. I still remember.
I think you have something you have to accomplish before you die.
Yeah, you go back and kill that snail. I think I saw the memory card for it too.
I want to see this happen now.
I want to kill the snail.
Hell yeah, you do.
Really odd, because I'm incredibly sympathetic to real snails in real life. Like, when I was trying to get the lawnmower started, I saw a snail on my garage, and I'm like, oh god, that's right, we have snails everywhere in this yard. Like, I need to get the snails out of the yard. And then I couldn't get the lawnmower started. Worked my way almost into a panic attack, and yeah.
I can't wait to go out to the woods. Have you been out to a rainbow gathering?
No, and I don't think I would enjoy it.
Oh, that's fair. I think you would. I know I would. I can't wait to go out. There's folk out there right now, but I'll have to wait till mid-June at this point to join for nationals. But God, I'm excited. had so much fun out in the woods.
Sounds really gay.
I know. Jack Hull's a piece of shit.
Fuck Jack.